Hello, hi, and welcome to another episode of Wellness in the Workplace. My name is Mbali Mzinyane and I am your host. Wellness in the Workplace is a podcast that aims to equip new and experienced professionals with the tools and insights to navigate different workplace dynamics. So one of the pillars of this platform is on career development, and the area of career development that we specifically focus on is on soft skills. And one of my favorite topics when it comes to soft skills is on personal branding. As somebody who has facilitated a number of personal branding workshops specifically geared at early career professionals, today's topic is very, very relevant and it is timely. We are speaking about personal branding specifically from the perspective of a personal style. And I have with me in studio today Lisa Mazaleni, who is a personal stylist. She's an image consultant as well as the founder of the Style Up, which is a platform that elevates and inspires women to feel more confident, more self-assured, and powerful in how they get dressed and show up every day. And most importantly, it helps women and also men potentially develop a memorable personal brand in the workplace. Welcome to Wellness in the Workplace.
Thank you so much for having me, Mbali.
Awesome. I am so happy that you're here. A little bit of background for people who are watching or listening. Lisa's actually based in Cape Town,
yes.
And she's in Joburg for the weekend. We just decided that we need to make this happen because it's been something we've been talking about in the background.
Yes.
But maybe before we start, with our topic and our conversation today, you can tell us a little bit more about yourself and the work that you do with the Style Up.
Yes, fantastic. So this is my business that I run, something that I'm deeply passionate about, and it started out of my own need for trying to understand how to dress better for my body type. I had postpartum depression after my second born.
Sure.
Really struggled to get back to myself and my body and how I showed up. And I knew I also wasn't alone in this. So I always had a love for getting dressed and personal styling. I'd always advise like friends and family on how to put things together. And that really, after that experience, it really pushed me to be like, no man, how can I offer this as a service? First, I became my own client first.
Yes.
Obviously tested out the methodology and I learned so much. I got skills on it. And then I started the business. So I helped myself to understand I'm going through a transition, but how can I dress to feel comfortable and confident? And that's what I do for other women.
Amazing, yes. Amazing. So to the topic at hand around personal branding, for anyone who is listening, I always like to break things down and make it foundational so that we all understand what we are talking about.
Absolutely.
So what would you say is personal branding and why is it important?
Yeah. So personal branding is the effort that you put in to communicate and present your value. This is done through being intentional and communicating what you are about. It is also personal branding is what people say about you when you're no longer in the room. It is your personal reputation.
Sure.
It is quite important because when you're intentional about it, people engage us usually on our perceived value. So when we are intentional about it, we can change that and ensure that what we're communicating and how we're packaging ourselves, it can meet our personal or workplace objectives and goals when we are intentional about personal branding.
I love the aspect of being intentional, right?
Yes.
Because a huge part of personal branding is deliberate. It is being mindful, and the element that you mentioned about perceived value, because it really is about how people perceive you. And you want to make sure that how you're communicating yourself is how you want to be perceived and received by others. So I really like that point. So what role does style play in developing your personal brand in the workplace?
So if we think of ourselves as a product, your style is your packaging. And when we're buying a product, we use our eyes first. If we also take into consideration that within the first 0.1 seconds, we make a first impression to someone else. And then research shows that after that, people are finding clues that support that first impression that they've made about you already. So it's unlikely that's going to change.
Sure.
So as a product, how are you communicating your value? How are you presenting your value as a package? So that is how you show up, and your clothes communicate to you. So if you want to show that you are professional, you pay attention to detail, that can come through your style and the way you dress. If you want to grab attention, you can do that through different tools and playing around with clothes, but your style is your packaging. Yes.
I love that. As someone with a marketing background, I understand the value of packaging and that connection you make to you being a product essentially, and how your style is a package and how you want to be represented is really, really great points. So what would you say are some of the key challenges that women have with their image when they consult with you?
I often find that the number one issue that women have when it comes to their style is that they struggle to put an outfit together. So they have clothes, they have pieces, but they struggle with formulating an outfit. That could be a number of reasons. I find that often I have to look at the client's mindset. Where are they at in terms of their body image? Are they having a negative body image of themselves? Positive body image, or how can we better that? So it definitely starts with mindset. So we work on that. So we find I love to use what clients have already in their closet. Before we go to the shop, we use what we have. Then we look at the basics. For me are dressing for your body shape. So that's not for weight. That is around looking at your proportions. So we take measurements of your shoulders, your waist, and your hips, and we find out what is your body shape. Body shape hardly changes because, as we know, that weight fluctuates all the time. So based on your body shape, I then know the formulas of what's best suited to an hourglass body shape, a pear-shaped body shape, a rectangle body shape, and then we build what you have using your clothes from there.
And just considering the different profiles of women that consume this content or subscribe to this platform, I want us to then talk about how you help women transition in different phases of their lives, right? Earlier you mentioned that, you were pregnant, you experienced postpartum depression, and that's pretty much the inspiration behind your business. But I want us to take it a step back to that early career professional who's just left university, is now entering the workplace, in that, experienced professional who's trying to be, noticed for that promotion and to be recognized. Then that new mom, who's just returning back to work from maternity leave, and they're confused about their style. They don't know what fits and what doesn't. How do you then help them in those different stages and transitions?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So those are the wide range of profiles that I do assist. If we take the graduate, for example, what we're going to consider there is budget, because they just starting out their career, they're still building their finances. So when we are trying to build their sort of workwear capsule, we look at where can we find some pieces that fit within a limited budget. And there are shops around that can accommodate that. I always believe that looking at the fit of something is more important, and also the quality. So we look at budget items that you can mix and match easily as you are starting out in your career. Then we go to the professional who's been in it for some time and they're getting a promotion, as you said. I get quite a few women that are in that range. They need to step it up. So they need to elevate their style. They are now leaders. They are leading teams. So they need to look the part. There we'll focus again on finding gaps that's in their wardrobe that can elevate an outfit. Something simple like adding a belt to your outfit makes us pay attention to where your waist is. It gives you more proportion and makes you look more put together. Maybe you want to you have a better sense of yourself now in this age group, and you want to now build your personal brand further. You can use style as a tool. Perhaps you can have like a statement piece. So maybe your statement piece is you wear scarves, or you have maybe a scarf that you put on that you wear, and you wear different scarves every day. Maybe you wear spectacles and you have different frames that sort of jazz up your outfit. So something that sets you apart. Maybe you always love suits, so you have different types of suits, and you mix that up. Because I find that the most stylish people, why they are stylish, it's because they're consistent with their style. If we think of an Anna Wintour, she's always in a dress, in a printed dress and a
with
coat.
her iconic bob.
Her hairstyle is her statement piece, and they're consistent in their style. If you think of someone dynamic as Bonang, she wears very professional. She looks very
put together,
yes, dressed up completely, very professional as well, and also trendy. So being consistent makes a big difference to make yourself, and you become stylish and recognizable for that style. And then also women who are at the end of their career, so they are working now, going on retirement. They also having fluctuating hormones, so they need. I need to pay more attention to the fabrics that they put against their body. So more natural fibers like your cottons, your linens are better because they get hot flushes. So that's also something to take into consideration. Also, how can we transition your wardrobe into now you're going to be more at home, it's more casual, you don't need the suits and the button-down shirts as much. So that's another area or group. Another thing that impacts the woman and their lifestyle is I had a follower on Instagram in my community, and she reached out to me. She said, Lisa, can you please help me style sneakers? I can only wear sneakers because it's in terms of comfort for her. So I helped her style some sneakers, and then I inquired a little bit more as to why she needed that. She told me that she has neuropathy. So neuropathy is a condition where you have tingling and pain and numbness in your feet, and that's a condition with side effect of chemotherapy. So she was going through cancer. So sometimes we don't think of how easy it is for us to get dressed, but other people have health issues. It's difficult for them to actually live in their bodies, and that we don't consider that. So that she needed to have comfortable shoes because of her medical condition. So there are various factors into where style comes into play and how you show up fully in your body.
Yes. And I mean, considering that, we went through COVID and a lot of people had to work from home because of that, and people who may have been going to the office, who were used to wearing, their heels to the office, used to dress up, have also found it quite difficult to transition back into, working at the office again. If you've been, working from home for about 2 years, the only thing that you really had to worry about during that time was just maybe your top half of your body, And so now when you transition back into the workplace, how do you build up then your wardrobe to make sure that you're still comfortable and to make sure that you're still able to, look professional and represent yourself well? Have you had to deal with some of, your clients that have had to face that kind of transition?
Yes, especially when going back to the office was becoming more common, and it included more days of the week that they had to be at office. So for me, when you are wearing an outfit, comfort is key because it can show up in your confidence. So when you're tagging at something that's too tight or something that's pulling, and you can physically see that you're uncomfortable, and that signals to the person that you're not actually confident in yourself. So comfort is quite important. It plays on your confidence. So subtle ways that we can do that, transitioning back from being comfortable at home to being professional at work, is looking at pants that maybe have a bit of stretch in them. Pants that, even if you have to take one size up sometimes in your clothing, don't worry about the label. No one can see the label. Fit, as I said, is very important. Get things tailored to suit your body, because often things in the shop are not made for our individual bodies. So look at things that have a little bit of stretch in them. Go one size up is a good idea. Find something with structure. So maybe you still have something casual on. I like to do this little tool of you wear 2 things casual, 2 things that are more formal or polished. So you could do a t-shirt with a blazer and a jeans, and then maybe a pointy kitten heel. So that's like 2. So it's not fully professional. It's fully polished. So that's sort of subtle ways that you can slowly get yourself getting back into dressing up. And then also have like in your arsenal 3 to 4 outfits that you know work, and that so that you don't have to wake up in the morning and be so stressed out about what to wear, be it for a presentation, be it for an interview. Have that in your arsenal so you know, okay, let me look at my camera and let me just see my pictures. What can I wear today, so that you're not stressed on the morning of work or an important event that you've got.
Yes. You mentioned earlier, the point around budget. And I think whenever people think about a personal stylist, they probably think, I can't afford a stylist. That seems to be something that is for people who are affluent, people who have the resources and the means to be able to afford that. What would you comment around somebody who has that perception around personal styling? And how would you then advise someone at any point in their career, whether they're a new professional, whether they're seasoned, who is very conscious and concerned about their budget? What would you advise them?
Okay. So I would advise that when you're going for using a consultant or going for training, it's good that if you're intentional about building your personal brand, that you set some money aside and that you can pay for the consultant's fees. It will work out in the long run. It really does. It really pays off in the long run. And when I am consulting with a client, I don't have a limit as to say, I'm not going to help someone who shops at A, B, and C store. I'm going to help you around the budget that you have, and it is possible. There's ways that we can do virtual consults as well, so that's not as expensive as in person. I'm also a personal stylist and not a celebrity stylist. So obviously celebrity stylists have to source like expensive gowns, etc., and outfits, whereas I help the everyday woman because I'm also a person that understands a 9 to 5 and working within a budget. I would say that work with the means and what you have. So that's why my philosophy is always, let's start with what's in your closet. When a client says, let's go to the shops, I'm like, no, let's first see what you have. And then let's buy gaps or shop for gaps and do it at your own pace. Like you can do maybe one item this month, another item next month. So you spread it out so that it doesn't feel as overwhelming to you. But I think it's an investment that definitely will pay off. And initially it might feel big, but you can break it down and you can negotiate with your personal stylist. Be like, this is where I'm at. How can I get your services or use your services? And then what is the process? And I can definitely create a plan around that.
I actually just thought of, for me, when I was in corporate, my approach to style was based on the days of the week, right? Okay. So I wanted to actually get your thoughts around that. If you do advise, individuals or your clients around what to wear on certain days of the week, because I would typically, think that, Monday is more of the serious type of meetings where I'm doing a lot of face-to-face interactions. Maybe Monday through Wednesday, I would have a lot more of the professional, polished types of looks. And then a Thursday and a Friday would be a lot more relaxed, mostly on the Friday where you then bring out your sneaker and, you're showing that it is about to be the weekend and you're in a more relaxed mood and tone. What is your approach in terms of styling throughout the week? Is it that structured or is it just based on, what is available and also based on the routine of the client?
Yes. So that's why it is called personal styling, because it's quite personal to you. You might have an office job. I might be on site 5 days of the week. So depending on the person's actual profession, also based on what the requirements are of the workplaces. Some workplaces have a dress code that they need to adhere to. That also needs to be taken into consideration. I'll often find that a client would come to me and be like, I'm doing a presentation this week, so I need an outfit for maybe a Wednesday. Then we need to make sure that she's got a presentation look ready for that day, or they're going on a retreat with their company. So they need to have a mix of clothes. They're going to the beach, so they need to have something for the beach, something for that's more sporty, athleisure wear to also participate in the retreat. something for team building exercises as well. So I would base the outfit for that week based on the activities that need to be taken into consideration.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
But that's good that you have a structure, because at least you're starting from a place of you understand your schedule and what you need to know. Maybe most of your meetings are Monday to Wednesday, and also the way we dress up impacts how we show up.
True.
So when we've got that suit on, we feel invincible, we feel powerful, confident that we can take on this meeting. So wear that red lip, wear that heel, whatever, that power piece I call it. Wear that power piece, especially on the days you need to put your best foot forward.
100%, 100%. So for people that are watching who may be in roles or jobs where they have to wear uniform, right? So Monday to Friday, they're dressed in uniform and they lose their sense of style because of that. What would you advise them in terms of building up their wardrobe outside of work, but also within work? How can they personalize, their outfits to make sure that they still show up in their personal style and to put in that flair of who they are and how they look?
That's a great question. I would say do it in jewelry, do it in accessories. That's also a nice way that you can add your own flavor to an outfit. It could be an earring, it could be a hairstyle as well. As long as it's keeping into some sort of code that the workplace might have. Looking at like colorful shoes or a bag or a scarf, again, is something easy that you could do if you wear spectacles. Change up your frames a little bit, have 3 or 4 pairs of spectacles that you could change up as well. That's a nice way to add your own touch. And then outside of work, I think have items that look around your lifestyle. So I love to do a lifestyle sort of audit with my clients. I ask them, what is their most common activities? So obviously work takes sometimes around 70 to 80% of our time. If we look at a week or a month, and make sure we have enough clothes, that 70% of your wardrobe is serving that 70% of workwear. Then maybe you are an avid runner, a hiker, you are into sporty activities. Make sure that your wardrobe caters to that. Maybe another 30 or 20%. If you love dressing up to events, going out, you got book club, you got like a dinner, special dinner or date night. Make sure that you've got items that also cater to those. So build your wardrobe around your lifestyle, and that cuts out like 90% of the frustration that you would have.
I love that lifestyle audit. So I'm assuming that you also do that in conjunction with what the client already has in their cupboard, and then for additional pieces that could spice up and bring more of that personal touch, you obviously advise on what it is that they can buy or add on to their wardrobe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, amazing. So I want to talk about the do's and don'ts of the workplace. I recently saw, I think it was a TikTok or it may have been on X, I can't remember exactly, but the individual was wearing a slightly shorter skirt than average and it started a whole topic about what is appropriate and what is not appropriate within the workplace. So I want us to talk a little bit more about that in terms of the do's and don'ts when it comes to what to wear in the workplace.
That's a great question. I think that, again, I'm going to go back to comfortability and professionalism. If you are required to look professional at your workplace, we're not saying that a short skirt cannot be professional. Take into consideration that we can see when you are uncomfortable. If you're tugging at that skirt and it's too short, we can see that you're uncomfortable and you're giving a bit of insecurity, that you're not comfortable in what you're wearing. Perhaps if it's a shorter skirt, pair tights with it, maybe layer it with tights. Look at how you are wearing it. Are you pairing it with super high heels or like flats? Or the blazer, is it layered, or are you wearing a tight top as well? Because often something that's too tight all round, it's nice to have one item that's a little bit more oversized and then another item that's a little bit more tight fitted. That looks quite stylish and more put together. So just take that into consideration. And also, I think and I believe that look at yourself and tell yourself, ask yourself, is this the message? What is the message that I'm trying to communicate with this outfit? Is it going to give off this perception, or is it going to give off that perception? Also ask a friend or someone that you trust, and ask them what they think about the outfit before you go to the office, or if you're unsure about it, if it's appropriate. Ask someone else and get their input, someone that you trust, of course, not just any person, and get their insight in terms of that. But yeah.
Yeah. I think earlier you also mentioned just being aware of what the code of conduct is around what is appropriate and not appropriate to wear in the workplace.
Absolutely.
I know with certain industries, certain professions, they are actually quite strict around, work wear and what would be deemed appropriate. And especially if you are also client facing, for example. So if you're in a role where you have to meet a lot of clients and how you want to represent yourself and also represent the organization that you work for. So that's something to also consider. So then for anybody who is still saving up maybe for a personal styling consultation, where would you say they can practically start right now while they're still building up the funds to be able to get a personal stylist? Where can they start their personal branding or personal style journey?
That's a fantastic question. I would say go inward. Like I said in the beginning, your mindset is everything. The more you know yourself and your likes and dislikes, that is going to influence what your personal style is. That's going to influence the statement style that you want to bring across as your personal brand. A great exercise. For 2 weeks, take a photo of yourself with what you're wearing every day, going to the office, doing about your daily things. Take a picture, keep it in a folder, and look what you're always drawn to. Am I drawn to wearing dresses, skirts, or am I drawn to wearing trousers with a shirt? And look at that, and then you can get a better understanding of what you actually like. Make a note of it. Okay, I like to wear trousers. I feel most confident in this. I feel not so confident in that. And then lean into what you like more, so that we can build that consistent style that sets us apart. And that's true to ourselves. Then you can use Pinterest also for inspiration. Sometimes you don't know how to style a brown pants. So you type in brown pants, brown trousers outfit for women. And you look at the different combinations and then look, okay, she's paired this with a shirt. I've got something similar in my wardrobe. Let me try and use that as inspiration to build my own outfits, basically. So that's sort of ways that you can build your personal style, starting as you are waiting to consult with a personal stylist who will take it to another level, looking at your body shape, looking at what tops, bottoms, dresses are best suited for your shape. That helps you save time and money, so you don't buy the wrong things that don't complement your taste and your lifestyle and your body shape. So those are the important things to building your personal style.
So have that vision board,
mood board.
Yes. I'm actually taking notes right now because I'm in a bit of a transition myself. So I'm taking mental notes of what it is that I need to do. Might actually hit you up for a consultation. Okay, so we've got a couple of items here, and the question around building a capsule wardrobe, what it is and how it can benefit you, and also how it can be cost effective in terms of building up your personal style, is what I also just wanted us to chat a bit more about. But maybe you can start off by telling us what a capsule wardrobe is, and then you take us through some of the items that you have here on display.
Okay, fantastic. For me, a capsule wardrobe is an intentional collection of clothes that can be easily styled with each other. What a capsule wardrobe is not for me, it doesn't have to be minimal, it doesn't have to be boring colors. You can have a capsule wardrobe that is bright and bold and colorful, but the items still interchange with each other. It could have an African print or African essence if that's your aesthetic that you love. Then you have items that show that. So it's not minimized to being minimal and only the color palette of beige, black and white and your grays. So for me, that's not what a capsule wardrobe is. It's about that every piece has a purpose, and that has an intention, and that you don't have more than what you actually need. So that's where the limitation comes in. I don't have maybe 5 beige knits in my closet, because why would I need 5 beige knits? So that's a capsule wardrobe for me.
Yeah. Okay. And so maybe we can just start talking about some of the items here.
Okay.
And maybe you can take us through why you selected these pieces specifically for a capsule wardrobe.
Yes. So for women that are in the workplace, I would suggest getting a suit. A suit is such a handy item because you can wear them with each other as a set, or you can wear the pieces on its own. So I could pair this with a blouse, let's see, or with a knit. I could pair it with a t-shirt. It's quite versatile and it gives you sort of more options. I have a rule that whenever you buy something, I always advise clients, make sure that you can wear the items at least 3 or 4 ways in your closet before you commit to shopping. Yeah. So a suit is very handy. This blazer you could wear with the jeans on like a Thursday or Friday if it's more casual. Jeans, a graphic t-shirt, your jeans and like your sneakers. That's quite nice. There's still a little bit of structure and you look more put together with the blazer. Then good items to have again are quality t-shirts.
Yes.
I like something that's plain, but it's not limited to that. Maybe you like bright colors, so you could get a green, you could get a red t-shirt, whatever's to your personal taste. These are also great layering items. So in winter you could layer them under a knit as well. These are quite nice to have.
Yes. They're staple pieces.
Yes, exactly.
I love that.
Waistcoats have been on the market for quite some time now.
They made a comeback.
And it's been like 2 or 3 seasons now that they've been in. So this is also quite a nice piece that you could wear with the trousers as well. And then you could layer it under you could lay a shirt underneath it, or even a t-shirt as well. That's quite nice.
And you could do it with jeans.
You could do it, exactly. And I've got a silk skirt as well.
Lovely.
So these are quite lovely to layer with this as well. You could do a button-down shirt. I didn't actually bring one, but you could wear a button-down shirt with this. See, it also interchanges with the knit. So you can see that it all interchanges with each other. This can go with the suit. This can go with this trousers. They can go in different ways. You could even wear the blouse with the leopard print blouse with the skirt as well.
I see that.
And I find that accessories are also a great way to add personality to your outfit. So maybe you love a scarf that you could wear on your head, a scarf that you can wear around your neck and have different scarves. You could wear jewelry, earrings, your necklaces as well. Those are a great way to inject personality and style.
Yeah.
Then I also brought some like flats.
Love those.
If you're a flats person, these pumps are quite nice, or doing like a loafer as well. Looks quite chic. And then a kitten heel, or your stilettos if you're a stiletto girl. Keep a few of these in your arsenal, and they're nice to mix and match for your workwear.
I love that. And then just a final point around color. You did mention that a capsule wardrobe does not have to be boring. It does not have to stick to neutral tones. How do you then incorporate color and bold prints in a fun and exciting way, but also keeping it to the context that you're in, whichever professional environment that you may find yourself in?
Okay. Again, color. If you're a little bit scared of color, I would say start small. Start again with your accessories. So you could do like a bright shoe. You could do a handbag. You could do like a scarf or an earring that has some color in. That's a good way to start small. And then also look at a color wheel. That's like a really great tip. So on the color wheel, any colors that are across each other from a color wheel, they go together. Like you've got yellow and green, they go together. So whatever's opposite and also next to each other go quite nicely together. So that's a nice trick that you can use. Just Google a color wheel and look how to match colors together. So that when you're buying a color, before you buy it, you see, okay, do I have something that can match with it in my workwear wardrobe already? Or am I going to struggle to incorporate this color into my wardrobe? So that's a good tip.
I love that. Yeah. And maybe just in closing, I want to ask you a question around your personal style.
Okay.
How would you define your personal style as a professional who is also a mom, who's also a wife, and also business owner? How would you define your personal style?
I would define my personal style as I actually do lean towards more a classic type of style. I love a blazer, I like a stripe. I love your black, white, and those sort of minimal colors or that color palette. I'm also in a bit of a transition myself as well, because I've been finding last year my wardrobe is not speaking to me as much. So I'm trying to switch it up and also going to Pinterest to see, okay, I've got this, but how can I jazz it up a little bit more or find inspiration? So yeah, I love a classic wardrobe. I love blazers. I'm a trousers person, so I'll lean more towards trousers than dresses or skirts.
Okay.
So I know that what I like. I love a loafer. I love a flat shoe, a beautiful like leather classic shoe, and I love quality pieces. I love investing in pieces that are almost 100% cotton, linen pieces, silk pieces. A lot of items in my wardrobe are more than 5 years old.
Sure.
Yeah, I rarely buy into trends.
Yeah.
I always ask myself before I buy a trend, am I going to wear this in 2 years' time? Or is it just something that's just
seasonal?
Yes. And if I do like a trend, I would then maybe buy a cheaper version of it.
Got it.
So that it's not so invested in it. But yeah, I'm very cautious of buying into trends.
Yeah. Amazing. All right. Any closing remarks? So where can we find you? How can we get in contact with you if we want to have a consultation with the Style Up?
So for anyone that is interested in a consultation, these are the things that we look at typically. So we look at body shape analysis. I take your measurements and we figure out what is your body shape. Knowing this helps you to get the right tops, bottoms, and dresses that suit your shape, and that saves you so much time and money in the long run. We then do a color analysis. So in a color analysis, we find out what is your undertone and what colors worn closer to your face suit you best. So we do this by taking color swatches and we put this against your skin, against your face in natural light, and we look at and figure out, are cool colors more suited to you or warm colors? So the colors that suit you best will make you look alive and glowy. Colors that are not more suited to your skin tone or your undertone are colors that make you look sick or tired. So we figure out what is your undertone, and then we work out the colors that you should wear closer to your face. This also impacts your makeup choices, as well as when you're coloring your hair, what dye you should go with in terms of hair color. Yeah.
Lisa, thank you so much for
Thank you
this.
so much.
Thank you for availing yourself. And I think it was so serendipitous that you were in Joburg this week and we were able to do a recording together. For you who is watching, or if you're just listening, I hope that you've just taken in the fact that your personal brand has to be deliberate, right? Yes. It has different components. Some of it might be how you communicate. Some of it might be how you conduct yourself in meetings. And another way to actually do it is through your personal style. And it's definitely something that you shouldn't overlook in the process of building a memorable personal brand. It is intentional, it is about investment, and it is about what you want to get out of it in the long run. Those are my parting remarks for today's episode. I hope that you have found this very, very valuable, very different from the style of conversations that we've recently had on the podcast, but still impactful and important nonetheless. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for your consistent support. If you don't know, do subscribe to our channel. Do follow us on Instagram and also follow us on LinkedIn. We do have a company page that is there. My name is Mbalim Zinyane. This is Wellness in the Workplace. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.